but another cool natural situation that's about to happen. Did we discuss Comet C2022 E3? It's going to be.
You and I have discussed it outside the podcast, but
yeah, we personally discussed it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's a comet.
This could be from our space segment. Insert space intro here. Bam.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff.
The good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it.
It is imperative we voyage out into the blackness of space to colonize new worlds across the cosmos.
3, 2, 1.
Done.
All right, go ahead.
Wow, that's such a good intro. I love that intro. So there's a comet known as C22E3 that will have a bright green nucleus and long, faint tail that should maybe be seen by the naked eye later this month. At the end of January and early February, it said, like, January 31st, February 1st, February 2nd, I think, are going to be the hottest days to go see it. But
it's going to be really close to Earth, isn't it?
Yes, it will. I don't know how close, though. Don't know how many miles.
How often does it?
So this particular comet, it's like, it takes forever. If it was last seen, it would have been more than 10,000 years ago.
That's amazing.
But I think I might have read somewhere that it has a parabolic orbit, which means that it is like on its way out. So it could possibly be from somewhere else or something.
What do you mean by that? From somewhere else?
It might be not I guess it probably is a solar system object. But
do comets orbit anything in particular?
They orbit the sun, yeah. They just have extremely long orbits. Have we talked about comets on?
We have camping, but not on the podcast.
Not on the podcast, okay.
Sounds like a good time to talk about it.
Yeah, so what a comet is, essentially, it's a ball of ice and dust that is kind of like a remnant from the early formation of the solar system when all the other stuff sort of crunches down in the center of the solar system and forms into cool things like planets and suns or stars or whatever, protoplanets, stuff like that. There's a bunch of crap that gets left way, way, way on the outer orbits. We call that the Oort cloud, O-O-R-T. And the Oort cloud is like kind of the last, by a lot of measures, it's the last thing in the solar system before you officially exit the solar system. Because the way gravity works, it goes a very, very long distance, but the Oort cloud is the last stuff that really makes a difference that is bound to the sun's gravitational sphere. And so the Oort cloud is super far out. Like, we think of Pluto as having its orbit far out, but the Oort cloud, I want to say, starts at like 5 to 10 times the orbit of Pluto. It's super far out.
All right, we don't have to go off on a whole tangent unless you want to. Is Pluto a planet, though? Before we move on?
Oh, I would say no. It is important to say that it does not meet the scientific standards, because if Pluto's a planet, there's several other things that, like, measurably are bigger than Pluto. And so, unless you want to consider those planets as well, which I'm okay with, I don't really care. But I just want standardization because it's important to, like, one thing can't be a planet just because you feel like it, you know. That being said, I still say the P in my very educated mother just showed me 9 planets. Or us, just showed us 9 planets, sorry.
So any comet that we're going to see is only visible, I guess probably only visible from our solar system then. Like, comets aren't like something that
generally speaking, yes. Yeah, generally speaking. And they usually take quite a while to get in and out. And
eventually they just die out, right? Eventually, like...
Yeah, because what causes the tail is, like I said, they're ice and dust, basically. So as they get nearer the sun will basically evaporate. It doesn't really, what's the term I'm looking for? Melt the ice as so much as it just sublimates the ice, but it'll blow off parts of the comet. And then, yeah, eventually the comet will disintegrate fully, which is actually why we end up with, you know how we have like predictable meteor showers, like, oh, in August 11th through 15th, it'll be the Perseids or whatever. I'm not sure if that's true, but
Sure, yeah.
the reason that we have regularly predictable meteor showers is because of comets disintegrating. Like a comet disintegrates, and if its path crossed Earth's path, all those little disintegrated pieces end up crossing Earth's path as we move through where the comet used to orbit. And so as we collide with that path that the comet used to inhabit, we hit the particles that were the comet, and they appear in the sky. That's why a lot of the cool meteor showers, you can say like, oh, they'll be coming from this direction in the sky, because the Earth is actually slamming into the rocks, not the rocks slamming into the Earth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was actually going to ask, can a comet hit Earth? Like, could it ever
Totally.
could it be a devastating
Totally.
event for? And that would
Yeah.
be different. That would be different than a meteor? Because meteor
Okay,
hitting
a comet,
Earth
a
is
comet
always what
would
you
be
hear about, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Is it different?
Okay. So a comet would be different than an asteroid hitting Earth. But I
Okay.
think once the thing starts to hit Earth, no matter what it is, it becomes a meteor. Because
Okay.
meteor and meteorite are descriptions of like a meteorite burns up in Earth's atmosphere, and a meteor, I believe, hits the ground. Let me check
Oh,
that real
okay.
quick.
That's cool. What is an asteroid? You mentioned that. I don't like. Is that its own thing? Like,
It is an asteroid is made of rock and metal. That's what differentiates it from a comet. I would imagine is mostly composition, but we're starting to get out of where I feel fully confident.
no, okay.
But yeah, so I know that their composition is going to be different, and also asteroids tend to be found closer to the center of the solar system. That's why we have the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, I think.
I'd have no. You would know more than me.
I think it's between Mars and Jupiter. Pretty sure. Which all of that, like the formation of stuff, a lot of it has to do with the density of the things being formed. Like asteroids form closer to the center because they're denser, and that allows their gravitational attraction to be more suited to that area, and what have you.
Is denser a word, or is it more dense?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think denser is a word.
I'm not. Yeah, I know.
I know
you
condenser is a
appreciate
word.
to know the answer. I'm not trying to be a dick and call you out. I would think more dense
Ooh.
is the correct way, right?
I can't.
Because I would never. Because then that would
Denser
lead me to
versus
think
more.
that something could be the densest, and that just sounds stupid.
Well, a black hole, right?
Is the most dense,
Okay.
is how I would say it, right?
You can talk about a city having a dense population, in which case the comparative form is denser and the superlative
Wow.
densest. So the
Okay.
densest population of Bangladesh, New York, and Chicago is
Okay.
Bangladesh.
Now that I'm hearing it spoken, it makes sense.
And yeah, and Bangladesh is
Yeah.
denser than New York, but New
Nice.
York is denser than Chicago.
Nice.
But
I bet
that's from
everybody
the-
loves. I bet everybody loves how I just steered us away from talking about space to grammar.
Dude, I just fucking came.
We broach
I'm
all
gonna come.
topics. We broach all topics on this. I need to get that sound clip. I don't have that.
That would be a good one.
I have it. I should have it.
You could also totally get us saying it too.
Well, are you interested in watching a 2-minute video on YouTube about what a comet is?
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this. Can you see that?
Dude, we got fancy new tech.
And welcome to our universe. Today we'll be answering the question, what is a comet? So comets are basically dirty snowballs which orbit the sun.
Do
They're
you
gen-
concur?
Yeah, ice and
Yeah.
dust.
All right, let's hear what he has to elaborate on that.
Only made of ice, such as water, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and methane, and mixed in with a bit of dust. These materials come from a time when the solar system was barely formed. Comets have an icy center, called the nucleus, and this is surrounded by a large cloud of gas and dust, called the coma. The coma is created as the ice in the nucleus is warmed up by the sun and evaporates. Comets can develop two tails as they travel closer to the sun. The straight tail is the gas tail, and the curved tail is the dust tail.
So make sure if you guys go out and look at the comet in the end of the month, beginning of February, look for the tails.
The gas tail is created by the solar wind. This pushes gas away from the comet's coma and pointing it straight back from the sun. The dust from the coma is not affected by the magnetic fields, but is vaporized by the sun's heat, and this forms a curved tail, which follows the comet's orbit.
That's nifty.
So I hope that's given you a good insight into what...
That's pretty cool.
Which, by the way, Walker, you mentioned offhandedly, but would you like to meet up and try to go photograph and hang out and see the comet? That seems like a
for
fun...
sure. Is there like a specific day that it needs to be done, or is it just kind of like a several day period? There's probably one day where it's the best, right?
There's going to be a couple days when it's prime. The like 31st, 1st, and 2nd are going to be the absolute best. Those are a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I think if we hit the weekend before that, the 27th, 28th, and 29th, it would be probably just fine. Just about just fine. Because, I mean, it's going to be like, it's going to be X amount % of better, you know?
Yeah, that's true. How far
And
are
we
you
can-
from, like, Great Basin? How far are you from there?
Great Basin. Ooh, I don't know. I want to say about 4 or 5 hours.
I'm just trying
Maybe
to think of,
4.
like, areas we could meet that would be pretty remote, or, like, general.
4 hours to Great Basin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Great Basin would be great, or
That'd
anywhere
be a
out
cool
that
area,
direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we went there and had a little time, we could go up and check out the world's oldest trees and do a little little podcast piece on that. Maybe
That'd be cool. Yeah, is
Yeah.
that the aspens or whatever, or no?
no, the bristlecone.
This is the bristle
pine.
cones. Yeah, the
Yeah,
actual oldest trees, not that bullshit.
yeah, they look
pan
look.
organism bullshit.
Yeah, we can show pictures of things. A lot of times they look dead actually. When you see
Yeah.
them, like they have a lot of dead wood. Here, let me.
They have a very bonsai aesthetic.
Yes, definitely. Actually,
They are like
man, I
the
would love to
definition.
grow one as a bonsai sometime. That would be pretty
That would
cool.
be super cool.
So yeah, this is these are bristlecone pines.
They are beautiful. Golly,
Yeah,
very
the
cool trees.
oldest living non-clonal organism because
Yeah, nice.
they count. There's a nice big picture of one. Which see, like I was saying, it looks dead, like 70% of it, but it's alive. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure it just has to conserve its resources. Very,
how
very
old
carefully.
do they? Let's see.
34,000.
The oldest tree of a verified one is 5,000 years old,
Dang.
approximately.
I was off by a lot.
Yeah, that's really old. I remember when I was in school for forestry, there's a cool or an interest. I won't say cool. It's kind of sad, but there's an interesting story they told us once about a guy who was somewhere in some Scandinavian forester who was like collecting. If anybody doesn't know, to collect like a tree age, you use this thing called a tree core, which is basically just like a hand drill, and you like poke it into the side of the bark of the tree, and you just like twist it around with your hands until you get to the center, and then you can like pull out just like the little section. It's like the size of a pencil, and you can count the rings on it to see how old the tree is. So this guy was doing this on one of the bristlecone pine trees, or I think it was a bristlecone pine. It was some very old species out west, and his like tree bore broke in the tree. Yeah, and so he like went down to the forester's office, because this was like a long time ago, and like an instrument like this was pretty niche and like expensive because you had to have somebody specially make it for you. And was like telling them like, hey, is there any way we can get this back? And they were like, well, the only way would be if we like cut the tree down, because like, you know, and then like cut it up and take it out. And he was like, all right. And so eventually that's what they decided to do. And it was the oldest tree that had ever been found to date. When they realized once they cut it down. Yeah, the guy felt horrible about it.
Dude. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
damn.
Tragic. Very tragic. But he got his tool back, brutal. I guess.
Yeah. Dude, imagine that moment of just him holding the
bad.
tool and looking at the tree like, ugh.
He must have felt bad using it after that.
Yeah.
There's another funny forestry story. There's a species of oak tree in in North Carolina and like the coastal region. And I forget the scientific name, but the common name is like the bastard oak.
Nice. Very cool.
But the story that our teacher told us is Quercus sinuata. The story our teacher told us was that it was named by a professor about another guy that he fucking hated in academia. He named the common name the bastard oak because he hated this guy. And like made a subtle nod to like, yeah, you're forever will be known
as the bastard oak.
Bastard oak because I think that you are a bastard.
That's awesome, dude. That's sick.
Yeah, pretty epic troll right there.
Yeah.
Dinkelberg. That's definitely a Dinkelberg moment.
Live in infamy forever, dude. That would be terrible. Do you have anybody in academia that you feel that way towards? I bet Roger does. Roger has to.
Yeah, I would wonder. If next time we get Roger on the podcast, we should ask him if he has like a rival,
an academic rival.
Yeah,
and if he doesn't, we should find him one.
Yeah. We can become his academic rivals.
I don't want to learn that much about caterpillar venom, dude.
Caterpillars have venom? I think we got a lot to learn.
Roger can do a podcast series on caterpillars and insects. Entomology, right?
Yep, that's correct.
It's entomology, right?
Entomology. There
Look
you
at me. A+.
Would you like a job?
Yeah. I'm pretty much ready to become a scientist.
But yeah, I guess we got off track talking about the comet. Do you have anything else?
Oh yeah. Not really a ton else. Just it'll be a cool comet. Go out and see it. It should be on the cool days, the best days, like February 1st. It should be towards Polaris or the North Star, and it should be visible early in the evening. They said, but I imagine
it says the first time in 50,000 years on the news article.
So I saw that in CNN, and then the NPR article I found said 10,000. So I don't know.
All right. Let me check that. More than 10,000? Okay. Yeah, I've seen that too.
So I don't know.
It's supposed to reach its closest proximity to the sun January 12th, and then about 3 weeks later, February 1st, the comet will be nearest to Earth.
Yeah.
About 26.4 million miles away at the time.
Yeah. Nice.
But would you say it'll be pretty visible with the naked eye, or is this something you're going to want to have, like,
they said it should be visible with the naked eye. It ought to be. A lot of it, obviously, will depend on where you are. Like, if you're in the city, probably not going to see it with the naked eye. If you're out in the Utah desert, you'll probably be able to see it with the naked eye. Definitely with binoculars, and if you have any, like, other kind of magnification.
Goblin Valley would be another place to consider going.
Actually, I've looked into
an Airbnb
at the San Rafael Swell and found one for like $45 a night.
Nice. Could you work remotely
more with
from
pets
there?
and multiple people. I could. So yeah,
I was going to say, because then we could actually probably meet up in the middle of the week and see it at its peak, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be into
if
that.
you're able to do that.
Cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
kinda cool.
Okay. I think we're on the same wavelength. Let's.
Yeah, because an
let's talk a
Airbnb
little bit
also
after
would
the
be
pod.
really, it would be really cheap in the middle of the week too.
Yeah, it looked like if we did 3 days, it'd be about $60 to $70 a day, depending on how many people and pets, and then like 48 if it's just me.
Do you know anybody else that would maybe want to come?
I can reach out for sure. I'm sure I can.
The way you were just talking, it sounded like maybe you had other people.
No, I'm just saying like the two of us, and if you bring your
Right.
pets. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah,
I can
that sounds
talk
sweet.
around though. Yeah,
Definitely do
fun.
that. You should bring your camera and all of
forget-
the equipment that goes with it.
I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to forget something for the like night photography, and then I can set you up to take a picture of me realizing I forget it.
This brings us up to a great. So the other day we were texting, and I came up. I don't remember what. Oh, we brought up that Scout tends to forget like a cord or something, or a
Just
battery
one
charger,
piece, one little piece.
for either his drone or his camera. The past 2 or 3 times we've gone camping.
It's been
somewhere.
several times now.
Yeah, it's at least 2, maybe even 3 times that we've met up. But anyways, it's to this point, it's like a joke. Like, oh my god, what are you gonna forget this time? But I brought up it would be really funny to do a photo series of like taking pictures of people right at the moment that they of pure disappointment. So like getting a picture of Scout at the moment he realizes he forgot his cord.
Motherfuck snap.
Yeah. Or like going to a sporting event and getting a picture of the losing fan right when like the winning play happens or something.
Dude, in like a super tense playoff game or something.
Yeah. Some guy losing a shitload on a bet, big
casino?
bet at the casino. Yeah, would be another good one. But yeah, there could be all kinds of like, it could be a cool series. Like, life is disappointing. I don't know what you'd call it.
Disappointed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
disappointment.
disappointment.
I will say there is a fine line though between like kind of funny and just tragic, because you could also do like somebody just lost their child in a war, or
Oh,
a
shit.
building blew up or some shit, or like fucking a miscarriage or something, like, which would
Yeah.
definitely fit in that series, but
Yeah,
also
you're
be
smiling an awful lot
way
there,
off
talking
base.
about all that stuff, buddy. That's
it would be very inappropriate
I-
to smile at this.
how funny is that clip if I just clipped you talking about those things while you're smiling?
While laughing.
Yeah, like
Dude,
No
make
context.
me famous. Send me viral, baby.
maybe that's the way this podcast picks up some steam. Is one
Just,
of our lives goes really badly because we fuck up. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess if one of our lives goes really badly because we fuck up, we got to keep podcasting to keep the pod famous.
But
That's
I
what
think-
counts.
I think that is a really cool idea for a series. But we were also joking that if you like were doing it around your friends enough, like they would start hating you for it. It's like, oh fuck, I left my like wallet at the restaurant, and you're like, oh dude, sweet, hold on, stop. Like, and just like they get pissed because you're always just taking pictures when they're bummed out.
They see you get your camera out, they're like, son of a bitch. But yeah, I would love to go photograph the comet, especially if it's near the North Star and stuff. That'd be cool. I also, dude, I tried to.
Yeah, how's
get
the moon gonna be out west at that time? That's a good thing
Great
to know,
question.
right? Hopefully
Moon.
not. Hopefully a new moon. Come on, new moon. Come on.
Moon phase
As long
for
as it's not
2022.
fall.
Let's see.
No full moon. No full moon. No full moon. No full moon. Come on.
Oh, come on. It's describing the moon phases. Moon phases. in
If you're a gambler, bet with your friends.
yeah,
Is
what's
the
your
moon gonna
bet?
be full?
What's your bet, Walker? What's your bet?
Honestly, I think it's gonna be in the half going to new, but I don't think it's gonna be like. I think it will be less than half going towards a new moon. That's my. But like still
All right.
mostly close to a half moon. That's my guess.
You're saying half going to new moon, but mostly
like
towards new
slightly
moon?
less than half, shrinking. I
Okay.
guess yeah,
January 28th,
that's a full moon, isn't it?
first quarter, February 5th,
Alright.
full moon. So it's going to be between first quarter and full moon. It's going to be a decent moon. Shouldn't be the worst, but shouldn't be perfect.
Yeah, I don't want to go anymore.
Fuck it.
No, I guess as long as it's not full, it definitely helps a lot if it's not full. But
Well, the other thing is, when does the moon rise and set? Moon rise and set. Because if it rises at 4 a.m., who gives a fuck?
that's a good point. That would be another cool video or photo series: moon rises and moon sets.
Yeah, that would be a cool one.
For a whole year.
Get it different
'Cause a lot of times
distances
it's
away
very-
from the horizon, but different times of day.
It's during the day a lot of times, right? The moonrise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Currently, it rises at 9 p.m. and sets at 10 a.m. But let's see on the first.
All right, so before 9 p.m. maybe might not be terrible.
On the first, it rises at 2 p.m. and sets at 5 a.m.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
Oh,
it'll be
well.
high in the sky.
Oh well, maybe it'll
Okay.
look cool with the comet.
Yeah, I mean, also we'll have that cool
far enough
scope,
out,
so
and if we're far enough in a remote place, we'll still
not
see
gonna
it.
matter. Yeah, it'll be fine, I think.
Yeah, we're doing
Yeah.
it.
Hell yeah, sounds sick.
We'll get some cool videos and pictures to share on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love eventually to start incorporating little video clips into this podcast and
Yeah.
earlier when I was intro now, I'm gonna fucking put a little video intro for that before we talked about space.
Yeah.
You know,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We
'cause
can.
we care about the listeners. At least I do.
I don't, but
Yeah.
I appreciate
Well,
that you do.
Now that you bring it up, Scout actively talks shit about all of the listeners outside of the podcast on a daily basis.
I actually look up our listener demographics and I equalize and talk shit.
Oh, dude, it's brutal. Yeah. You know
Croatians-
who you are.
The Croatians that listen to us get it the worst. Believe me.
Speaking of Europe, my friend Philip he was living in Prague. He now lives in Portugal.
Oh, wow. That's a change.
Yeah. So he was actually just saying today he would love to get back on the podcast. So
I would like to try to get in on one with him. I think we've had
Yeah.
trouble before because he and I are in
Well,
such different time zones, huh?
well, he's in Europe, so
But now is Portugal's got to be different.
it's
than
closer.
Prague.
Oh, it's a lot closer.
It's a lot closer. But is it a different time zone, though? That's
It's
the
definitely.
question.
I would say it's probably 2 or 3 hours. All right, so right now it is 2:30 in the morning there, Portugal. So he could potentially, if on
We
a
could-
weekend sometime, we could maybe do he could do
Yeah.
early morning. We could do
Exactly.
yeah, or we could do early evening. He could do
Yeah.
because the other times I've done it with him, it was 1 or 2 a.m. where he was. So he doesn't
Oh,
mind.
wow. What time was it where you were?
I was in the East Coast, so probably it was sometime in the evening, like it is now for the West Coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah, we gotta find out. I'm sure everybody wants to know if he ever
Yes.
sold
Yes, dude.
his monkey board
His
ape yacht
or
cub
whatever? Yeah.
NFT, and if not, dude, the value of those things has gone down so much. We
How
gotta.
much?
fucking-
Oh my god.
I mean, just all NFTs, but I really hope he was able to sell that thing. He said he was going to, but I don't know.
He
He
said it
didn't
at
pay
the
a lot
right
for
time
it.
too.
Yeah. I
That
mean,
was
the
the
thing is,
right time.
even though it's gone down, I bet he would still make a profit right now if he sold. If he hasn't, but because he bought in way early to that, as a whim.
That's because honestly, people are saying crypto and that's being smashed and stuff. I'm yeah, it is, but also Bitcoin's worth what, 15,000 a coin? Yeah, it's taking a hit.
Still up. It's still up over the
But
past
it's
year.
Still up
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah, 17,400. So I mean, it's still.
I mean, I definitely
Quite elevated.
I do think that there is some it does make sense that there could be value in it at some point if enough people put faith into the system, you know?
Yeah, like I
it's
said,
a lot,
I think
it's a lot. It seems like potentially a lot better of a system than just the printing the money continuously that we do now, because you're unable. That's
Yeah.
it gets rid of that aspect of finance. From my most of the cryptocurrencies.
I don't know. I kind of tend to come down on, I think, a blockchain. There's probably one or two blockchain technologies like that will carry on in the future. It seems like Ethereum is pretty strong and Cardano is strong. I don't know that Bitcoin will be the one because it's the prototype. It's kind of like the inefficient, dirty, like, hey, look, we can do this. And then people came along and did a lot of cool stuff by tying it to other things other than just like,
yeah, people have
mining
compared
energy.
Bitcoin to gold because it's like there's a finite amount that eventually will. So then you could like essentially the argument is like digitally you're treating it like gold backing the financial system with it is kind of like, and because it has such a strong footing now, it just seems likely that would be the one that people would use for it. Like that's where it's at, yeah.
I would say that's a fair comparison, and I would also suggest that, like, to make a fully, like, fair comparison, you should also consider that, like, if we get into asteroid mining, gold will become worthless. And, like, I could see the same thing happening with Bitcoin, where somebody is able to do blockchain stuff better, or do something in just somehow a more efficient or stronger way that ties it. Like, if they could tie a Bitcoin to oil, if they could tie something to oil or gas, and like that became what you use in your credit card to pay for gas, like that's going to be the coin that wins, whatever the fuck that coin. If it's Cummy coins or whatever, that'll be the coin that wins. You know what I mean?
That'd be great if that's the one that won out. Cum rocket.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's like Bitcoin has a lot of strengths. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it's the first. So I would not be surprised if other stuff also supplanted it at some point.
I would say, yeah.
But I'm into the idea of a
agree.
crypto coin.
I definitely agree that like something can come along that would be more efficient and better than Bitcoin. The challenge they're going to come up against is the marketing of it, because Bitcoin just already has it's like already been in so there, you know, especially with something like a financial system, I would think that people are going to be more trustworthy towards something that's been around a lot longer. I would think, but it'll definitely be interesting, and I would not be totally shocked to see something else come along that like beats it out and makes it irrelevant. Like, wouldn't totally shock me.
That's I kind of think we're on the same page with that. It could go either way, but yeah, I think you're right. A lot of it is just marketing and branding. Like I said, if you get a Petro coin or something, you know.
It's so interesting because like the argument a lot of people always make in favor of cryptocurrencies and stuff is like it's decentralized and you don't rely on, you know, whatever. And I'm like, I don't think that's true, because you have to have the internet, which requires a massive system to keep that going. You have to have electricity to even power the devices to create the whole system in the first place, because it's all digital. So like there's definitely aspects to it that make it like not decentralized completely in ways that it could be manipulated. Like,
also it's absolutely trackable, and like there are attacks you can launch against the Bitcoin network, and
a
like
lot of people don't like that.
U.S. law enforcement has successfully tracked and prosecuted people based on Bitcoin transactions, and linked
most
people
of those
to
people are like scammers, though, right? Or
most of those people are child pornographers,
criminals, so
or child sexual abusers.
But
yeah,
it's just hopefully they would never overstep and start, oh, you got a speeding ticket.
Oh, no. This stuff is for like, is for like, criminals tied to like child pornography networks and like hacker terrorist groups and shit like that. Yeah.
Dude, actually, I'm pretty sure, not that we're going to monetize this video on YouTube, but I'm pretty sure just because that topic was just even brought up by us, CP, that if we wanted to monetize this video, they would not allow us to monetize it just because that we said that. I'm pretty positive.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, we're not monetizing the video, so it's not a big deal.
I'm okay with it because like the amount, if you give it press,
but it's
that might send somebody looking, you know?
If ever we were like to have a sponsor to make some money on this, definitely some things to remember or consider. I think
for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. I would actually. I will say I would be down to like seriously have this podcast as a business someday. or like this podcast network.
We'd have to figure out how to market. That's the main,
Well,
market it.
I see it honestly as more of a podcast network. If each of us can like spin into like a podcast that builds a following or something.
Right, but how do you build the following? I think that's the hardest part. Is
for sure,
getting people to listen to it. Like that's going to be the hardest thing.
Oh, definitely.
Especially because like we're nobodies. Like we're not like a famous person that made we're not some athlete that made a sports podcast or like a celebrity making a movie podcast where a bunch of people are gonna be like, oh yeah, Seth Rogen's got a new podcast, I'll check that out. Like,
especially because the amount of effort we put into the podcast is getting into the podcast once a week and discussing how to become famous on it during that once. I will say though, I have been thinking about like a hacking podcast idea that I think I could dedicate to like once every 2 weeks putting out an hour long, like, here's how to do this podcast. And I don't think it would be a huge following, but I think it could be the start of getting a following or how to navigate that.
On the YouTube channel, we could totally like make different recordings and have different, like, playlists of like, these are whatever. Even making a own channel, like whatever.
I want it to be usable on YouTube, but a big point would be to have it like you be able to have it as an audio medium, because one thing that bummed me out.
Oh yeah, I put it out on all the audio ones too.
Yeah, one thing that bummed me out when I was learning hacking is like there are very few audio podcasts for learning that stuff. It's all because I grant it's a very visual medium, seeing code typed and seeing what happens, but I think there's a way. There's a way. I know it.
Yeah.
So that's my plan to get famous. What's yours?
I just imagine somebody driving down a western highway late at night listening to your hacking podcast, and you're just like, and on this line, we're going to put open parentheses, bold, close parentheses, dash, 25596, and then they just like fucking drift to sleep because it's so fucking boring and like run into a cactus.
Oh, that would be a great short clip. That would be a good a good advertisement for our podcast someday. Wilderness Radio, and just like somebody like driving alone at night and listening to our voices and just slowly drifting off. That would be a great ad.
It's like some nice self-deprecating humor marketing there. Thing. Yeah.
The last scene is like a tire upside down spinning, and it just says "soothing" on it.
We know we're boring.
Yeah, relaxing.
Dude, you remember when we went to Moab and I had the idea for a gas
the
station
game
commercial? Yes, but also the gas station commercial.
Oh, what was the? I remember you had a good one.
We were getting gas at a Maverick, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny to have like a sketch where like some guys are driving out of a town in the west to like go explore, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we need some gas. Maybe we should stop at that Maverick." And then the other guy's like, "Nah, we'll be fine, dude." And like, they go out, and like everything just goes wrong. They don't have enough fucking gas or water or food or anything, and like the end of it is just them like as they're dying, like, "Oh man, dude, we should have gone to Maverick." And then like you cut back into some people who did go to Maverick, filling up
and
their
they're
tank
like loading
water.
up on hot dogs and gas and shit.
And the tagline at the end is, "Don't die in the visit Maverick. Don't die in the desert." It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That would be good. I'd be down to write that and pitch that to them.
Yeah, we could film that. It'd be funny if we filmed it and showed it to them. They're like, "Cool, thanks," and like just used it. And, like
they just like snatch it out of our hands.
Yeah, so through some loophole that we didn't know about, the no takesies backsies loophole. Once we snatched it from your hand,
possession is 9/10 of the law. Don't you know?
You can't demand. Like some troll, like riddle.
Oh man, that was great. The riddle.
We also had talking about the other day the idea for a short film where like it's a porn director.
Yes.
Yeah, he's making porn and like He gets pretty famous, and then like
starts
his
to
thing,
explore.
yeah,
He
his
starts
thing
to-
is that he like gets really weird and like has these really outlandish ideas that nobody's ever tried before in
not
porn.
like,
And, like
weird fetishy weird, just like oh, this is just a
sometimes,
romantic couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
he's just
But,
trying
like, oh,
new shit
yeah,
that nobody's
just weird,
doing. Yeah.
strange things.
And eventually, the punchline is that eventually, the guy just like creates an Oscar-winning movie for Best Picture. but in his mind, he's just making some dirty, dirty porn.
It's like this whole like mobster movie setup just to get to the sex scene, like 3/4 of the way through.
And it's this like beautiful like
It's the
sexual
best.
encounter on screen. Oh my god!
The director calls it the shot, and they're like the film shot. He's like, no, the cum shot. It's the cum shot. The whole thing is all to get to this moment. He's got the actor. He hasn't let the actor masturbate in like 14 months or whatever.
Pretty sure this is another topic we would not be able to talk about to get monetized, but fuck it, I don't care.
We'll go on Joe Rogan's podcast. He'll
Yeah.
hear us.
We should just start dressing up like Joe Rogan and pretend to be him and make our own podcast.
Isn't he bald?
That would be a funny joke podcast. Like
The Bro Rogan podcast?
Yeah, you pretend to be Joe Rogan. No, you. Oh god, dude. Oh, this is actually a great idea. And anybody that you invite onto the podcast has to try to dress up like and pretend to be Joe Rogan. That's the whole premise of the podcast.
Dude, I just imagine like the 3 or 4 of us, like me going, so you're telling me that, and then you start, so you're telling me that, and then Ben starts, so you're telling me that.
Yeah, Jamie, can you pull the his fucking his help guy?
Oh man.
But yeah, that would be a really fun. The porn director thing would be hilarious, I think.
Okay, so this is not a funny one, but another short that I was thinking we could shoot pretty easily would be to build a
Hold
fire.
on, not funny.
Get serious.
All right, I'm ready.
We could do To Build a Fire, a classic literary tale of man's struggle against nature and himself.
That could definitely be done. Yeah, that'd be an easy one to film. Honestly,
It could be very minimalist. Yeah, you don't need a lot.
You just need a
The
dog.
trick
and
is
a guy.
you have a dog. Yeah, you got to have a dog that you can work with. Which dogs are shitheads, so.
I don't think it'd be that hard. I mean, the dog is just kind of following the guy. It's mostly the guy doing stuff. As long as the dog, like, you could get the dog to just hang out around the guy.
Yes, and I
it'd be
think
that
there
hard.
would be so many good shots of having the dog in the foreground and the man in the background. Like the dog sitting watching the man try to build a fire. That's going to be a fucking... That would be a shot that makes it, dude.
Let's do an adaptation of it and not, like, true to the actual story where it's, like, a different setting and the guy has, like, a chihuahua or a dog.
To get a drink or something? It's like to get a drink?
Yeah, like, yeah, but the premise is, like, and the morals are all the same, the lessons. That could be
That would be
interesting.
great.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It's like Ulysses, right? Isn't that an Odyssey?
I mean, it's all Ulysses. When you
Yeah.
get down to it, it's all Ulysses.
Yeah.
It's all turtles all the way down.
I've never read
Well,
it.
we should talk about, at some point, we should talk about Joseph Conrad's hero's journey. Because now Rick and Morty did an episode of it, so you need to get educated.
That's just the premise of all stories for the hero's journey, right? That's what you mean?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's based on stuff like the Odyssey. Basically, this guy in the, I think, 60s or 70s, maybe earlier, but he researched a bunch of like proto myths, so like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Odyssey, all like Beowulf, all these old cultural tales that like come from nowhere in history. And he analyzed like basic themes of narrative and came up with like, hey, this is the basic hero's journey. A hero like starts as a normal person and then something calls them to adventure. And if you look, like every single hero gets called into adventure at some point. They get like, hey, you need to come do this. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And then they get forced into it.
Yeah, I've definitely seen like a flow chart or a circle chart
Yes.
of the whole thing, like
Yes.
all
yeah.
the different paths like that can happen and still end up at the same I mean,
Yep.
it ultimately ends up with like redemption arc and
Yes, and the hero
Yeah.
brings back the gift of knowledge.
defeating
basically.
evil, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. The hero always brings back the gift of knowledge, which they've won after like their journey, which usually is that love conquers all. Or
Is there any good stories you know that do that entire thing in reverse? Like the entire hero's journey, like, but in reverse? Is that even possible?
not that I know, and I don't know that it would be possible.
Yeah.
It would be, honestly, the ideal way to do it would be from the perspective of like you do it from like a Wall Street businessman who is breaking down the hero and who like explains from the beginning, like, this is the secret knowledge you're going to acquire. You're going to acquire that your life is worthless and that you hate your family and the only thing you matter is money. And then like it would be the hero fighting against that and slowly losing until they come back to it, I guess.
But then isn't that just the hero's journey? Like,
Yeah, kinda.
I remember there was a Louis C.K. on a podcast once was talking about he had an idea that he always wanted to do for a movie where like it's just this regular dude that like lives in a city and like just like something bad happens to him and then he keeps going about his day and like something else bad happens to and literally anytime something bad could happen, it happens for the entire movie and then the movie just ends. Like the whole time you're like, oh, maybe that like eventually this has got to go turn around for this guy. Like I see where this is going. Nope, it's all bad, and then it's over.
Does he like die in the end? Does he get hit by a car? Or because like how bad?
No,
does
I would
it
say
get?
I would
What is
argue that like
bad?
I would argue dying by getting hit by a car would even be like a win. In
A
way,
release,
because of
a
all
sweet
because of
relief.
all of the horrible things that have happened to this guy. Like, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
like. Or maybe the very end, instead of like, it could be one nice thing that happens followed
He like
immediately by
finds a
something
penny or
horrible.
something.
Like somebody holds a door open for him, and then he gets shot by a bank robber. But
I was gonna say he finds a quarter and picks it up and then goes, huh? And then somebody mugs him and stabs him and takes it.
yeah, something like that. Like something, just a glimmer of like hope, and then nope, take it away.
This is different, but kind of similar in the concept of like a movie that starts bad, gets worse. I've always thought of like doing something that starts off almost kind of like a quirky rom-com, but one of the main characters like has mental issues, it seems like, and it slowly turns into like a psychological thriller as the character loses their mind. And so like you see, like, you've seen Memento and shit, right? Where it like flashbacks and you get different perspectives of different people doing different stuff. Like a movie like that where by the end of the movie it like feels like a horror movie and you're not sure what the hell is going on, and then it just like ends. Like kind of like Shutter
Some of
Island,
the-
if you've seen that.
Yeah, I've always been interested to read that book. Like if that would be, because it's a book too. It was originally a book, Shutter Island.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Is it a pretty close adaptation, do you know?
I almost picked it. I was strongly considering picking it as one of my book club choices, but I was like, but I already know like how it happens, so I just feel like that kind of takes away from it. But it might still be a cool book to read. I'm sure there's a lot of different things that happen in the book too.
Yeah. I will say I'm definitely excited with the book you chose, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, we're reading Jurassic Park. If you would like to read a book and be in the book club, grab Jurassic Park and read it.
Heck yeah. Have you started reading it yet?
Yeah, I read the first chapter today.
So
Just
it
barely
goes
getting
in
on
those
track.
weird iterations or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah, Dean is
Yeah.
listening to the audiobook.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I just got to the part where we're introduced to Dr. Grant.
Nice. Yeah, I really don't remember much of the story, to be honest, so I'm kind of...
Oh, really?
I mean, kind of, but, like, I don't remember, like, the turning points of the plot, like, specifically
dude.
what, like, things happen, like, yeah.
I could definitely walk you through a detailed talk through of the like Jurassic Park movie right now. I
Well,
love
we'll
that
have
movie as a kid.
We'll have to do that after everyone reads the book. Get everyone
Oh,
on
yeah,
a
yeah. I'm
podcast
not going
together
to. I'm
and
just
talk about
saying,
it.
like,
yeah.
I love that movie. That's
We'll
one
have
of
to
my
talk.
favorite movies.
We'll have to get on get everybody on a podcast and talk about it. Maybe
Hell yeah,
would
agreed.
be kind of a cool
We
thing to do.
we got to get Chris in on it too. I know he'd be down.
Did you tell him we were reading it?
I can't recall if I mentioned it yet or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would probably be step one.
Yeah. Maybe I'll just say it here and see if he listens. And if he doesn't listen, he won't be part of it.
Yeah, because anybody listening at this point is a real listener.
Yeah, they're
You're
real
a
fans.
real listener because it's been 50 minutes. Yeah.
Actually, Walker, do you listen to every episode? I guess you edit them, huh?
I do. Yeah.
I do not. I save them for road trips and stuff. I save them for long events when I will want to binge on our pod.
Yeah. Well, we got like 42 episodes, I think now. 41 or
Hell
42.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're killing it. We're just hitting our stride now, baby.
We've also been talking about more about world record. Like we really want to try something.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
we should
so-
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So I ordered. I'm pretty sure it was very cheap. I'm pretty sure I ordered a dozen cans of soup, but it was Amy's alphabet soup.
Oh,
which
does it
that's
matter
usually
what kind
expensive.
it is?
No. Oh, well, so here's what I found out. The record has to be spontaneous, which I'm not sure if that means I have to send in one video.
For anybody who has no idea what we're talking about, Scout is going to
Yeah.
try to attempt to open and alphabetize A through Z a can of alphabet soup faster than anybody else ever has.
Which is 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah,
2 minutes
so-
and 8 seconds.
Continue, yeah, what were you saying?
So yeah, I bought what I think is a dozen cans of Amy's soup, and I'm going to practice with just this initial dozen because the guy who beat the record said that he experimented with a lot of different types, and he was like, soup thickness, and like, you have to learn the letters of the can that you're going to use because you can't mix up a Z and an N, and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And then I started looking into the actual application process, and it got to a step that kind of scared me because what they said was once you apply here, you're applying for a spontaneous attempt, which I'm not sure if that means that I'm not sure if I can videotape my attempts and then just send in a winning attempt. I might have to be proctored by a live person and like have my skills ready and open a random can and go. So I got to do more research into that. I also did some research that I can bring up on the longest podcast, which I found a couple different things for that. The Guinness World Records site shows the longest audio-only live stream as being 53 hours and 1 minute by Matt Hall and
Saw
Dan
that.
Ramsden in the
So
UK.
it's
We talked
audio,
about that.
so it's audio only, so we would not be doing video for that.
But yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the thing. So I searched longest podcast and I came up with
it's like a week.
82 records. And
I saw the one I saw for that was it said a Dutch group of podcasters had done like it was about a week's worth straight of
Okay.
like, they had organized and done that.
So that's what I saw also, and they also claimed the longest audio stream, and they said that the Guinness World Records also said that. And I went to the Guinness World Records site and couldn't find theirs, but I've only searched through like 20 of the 80 ones that popped up for that search, and the Dutch website only had links to its own website. It didn't actually link to anywhere else. So I think the Dutch, like, I imagine they didn't lie, but we got to figure out how to find that record on the Guinness site before we can break it. It's really a shitty search engine, is what I'm trying to get at here. Guinness World Records,
Sounds
hire
like
me to code
They
this
really
shit.
encourage us to apply, and then they'll tell you. It seems like that's
Yeah,
when-
I mean they're making money off of you engaging in the process. So
yeah, absolutely.
we should throw them I think we need to throw them like $20, and then they'll be like, okay, you guys are serious. Here, get in here, you idiots.
I would also be definitely. I didn't find any information on this, so maybe we could set the record. But like, furthest distance walked during like a live live stream or something, like live audio recording. I guess you'd have to probably do video for that, but
well, I'd really like to try to do.
that could be cool.
I'd like to try to do a not twofer, but like a 10fer. It would be nice to bang out a bunch of world records in one podcast. Do like the longest podcast, the most distance traveled. Do the alphabet soup.
So I sent you a couple of videos of like world records, and in those there were some ones that looked like maybe worth.
There were some cool ones. Yeah.
One that I thought might be kind of fun to try, and actually there's
you said
an
the
article,
head balloon, right?
There was a guy pushed a balloon like 10 meters in like however many seconds. It seemed doable. I watched the video. It didn't seem like, I'm sure it would take a lot of practice and like the right conditions to be able to do it. But another one I saw was somebody furthest hot dog thrown and caught in a bun.
Oh hell yeah! How far?
I can't remember, but it was like, it definitely, like when I saw it, I was like, doable. Like, so it's not like
we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, doable, definitely. And then actually, I was just looking up some like odd news stories from this week, and there's a world record that was broken recently. A man catches sausage roll in his mouth, like from the furthest distance.
Oh shit!
I was like, we could try that too.
Also, how far though?
83 feet 10 inches.
Yeah, because I mean, really, you just got to launch a sausage 85 feet.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I can predictably launch a sausage 85 feet, I can learn to catch one.
It was in Idaho too, so not too far from us.
Maybe we can travel up and learn their secrets.
But yeah, we could
train us.
Do that. I mean, dude, we could even with something like that. I bet we could plan it out where like you're up on a cliff or something, or way high ground, so it's even easier to throw a further distance. Like,
oh yeah,
we could do that one or something like that. Or like, all right, so like throwing something a
drop
certain
a
distance.
hot dog off of El Cap and catching it in your mouth.
Dude, furthest vertical drop and catching like a piece of food in your mouth, that would be an interesting one. I don't think that would be possible from El Cap, but
no, you might die, honestly. Taking a hot dog in the face at that height, it could be fatal. I'll crunch the numbers. I'll run the simulations.
Then we can get a Darwin Award too.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. I want to get all my other world records in before I get the Darwin Award. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, those were a couple that I saw, that the balloon one, and then it seemed like throwing. And maybe there's even another type of food that we could do that hasn't been done, or that isn't that far, that like throwing at a certain distance and catching it, like I would think that's its own category,
I would imagine you're right. So I will say we should read through the document together, because there's a lot of stuff that they discount just immediately. Like amount of food eating stuff, they won't do. Anything with alcohol, they won't do at all. Anything with like that's multiple variables, they said. So if you do like the most hot dogs eaten while riding the farthest on a bicycle, no deal, because it's two variables that you're measuring. They say like it has to be like, and then they only do certain amounts of time too. I think it's like 1 minute, 5 minutes, and an hour. So like you can't do most hot dogs eaten in an hour or whatever. Right. It's only in an hour. Yeah. There's a lot of specific shit they do.
Another one I saw, totally doable. It's just like a time thing, is the longest TV marathon.
Oh, hell yeah. How long is it?
It's currently, the thing I found said current record is 94 hours. Which doesn't seem that crazy,
Do you have to stay awake? Because if we can just like...
The rule, I think, said you get like every hour you get a 5-minute break. I think you have to be awake, though. That would definitely be the challenge.
I wonder if you can nap during the 5 minutes, because if you can train yourself to do that, you can do it.
Yeah. So, options to consider. We should, I guess eventually, there's probably a million things we'd be down to try. We should try to nail down the handful that we're going to legitimately go after, I think. It would be the next step.
Like I said, I've got tomato soup in the mail. Or not tomato.
Yeah, so
I keep saying tomato, but I've got alphabet soup in the mail.
Alphabet soup and longest podcast, we might at least try. If it's a week, are we like out on that one? Would you say?
Fuck no, I think we could do it.
I do too. If it's going to be that long, we're going to need a lot of help from other people.
That's the
come
thing.
in and like,
I want to check, because if it's like a week and we can just have it running and have like me and you doing 16 hours a day and then guests come on for 8 hours while we're taking a quick nap or whatever, we can fucking do that for 2 or 3 weeks. I'd be down to like do that for a long time.
yeah, we could try that. Yeah, we might as well crush the
That's
record.
what I'm saying. Is like I'm trying to demolish a world record.
Get
I
it
don't want
to the
anybody
point
to
where
touch me, dog.
where people are like, oh yeah,
Fuck that. Yeah.
I guess, yeah, you're gonna not be. You're gonna work on the podcast or something as part of the podcast.
Yeah, that'll be part of the podcast, dude. It'll be like Scout's work meeting, and you'll just hear me sitting there for like 30 minutes staring at the screen, and then all of a sudden go, uh-huh. Yeah, and we got to upgrade some of the security Dependabot alerts that are coming up. And beyond that, I think we're good. Cool, thanks. It'll be the coolest segment on that pod.
I would wonder what kind of rules there are for that. Like, because I imagine there's like a certain amount of dead air you could do. Like,
Yeah.
If, like, do you have to?
Right.
You can't just like sit there and repeat the same word over and over again for a week. Like, I don't know. You got to talk about topics. I don't know.
The thing that I'm kind of arriving to is I think we got to give them like $20 or whatever at this point.
Oh, we're
find
definitely. My impressions when I first was reading is we're definitely gonna have to pay to have a world record. That's not.
I think
not
we're at
gonna
the
be
point.
free.
We're at the point in our research where if we want to get serious about breaking world records, we got to shell over $20 and be like,
I think it's going to
hey.
be more than that.
It will. I'm
Yeah.
sure. All said and done. And you can get like consultants and shit. You can hire them to consult for you. So.
Sweet. So maybe. Yeah.
I'll
so
keep poking into it. I should get my alphabet soup, I think tomorrow or the day after.
yeah, I tried to look up on YouTube I was like, there's got to be a video of somebody like explaining the process of breaking a world record, but there was not a single video about that. So, dude, maybe we could make that video for people like.
Yeah, and to be honest, what this is revealing to me is that the Guinness World Records is like Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's a fucking scam. Like, it's...
Oh, for sure, dude.
It's totally just a
I don't
bullshit
care.
scam.
I
Yeah.
don't give a
No,
fuck.
I don't care either. I'm in.
Do you know
all
how much
the way.
enjoyment I got reading those books as a child?
Dude,
I would love to be
yeah.
able to say I hold a record. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
Oh, dude, having that on my Tinder profile alone is going to just fucking
Dude,
change my
holding
life,
your
dude.
Guinness World Record.
Yeah, dude. So I'm in. I'm totally in. But I will say it would be interesting if there were, I guess it would be the CIA fact book, but it would be cool if there were a like government-run version of this that wasn't like, give us $20 and we'll let you know.
Yeah, like an official.
Like an actual, like, yeah.
We only care about getting the record.
Yeah,
right.
we actually want to know what the farthest baseball a person's thrown is.
Well, there's I mean, I think there's just different, I think that exists. It's just there's not one thing for it. It's like each organization of stuff is going to have their own record keepers and whatnot.
Yeah,
like,
which makes sense.
An example is speed running. I know that's like its own like site online where like all speed running record. Oh,
yes,
another
dude.
one you
That's
talked
a cool
about
one.
was speed running
Speed running a grocery checkout
or something. That could be interesting. I bet that's really fucking fast and definitely been done.
So, dude, immediately I thought you just do a zero pay run.
Yeah, I mean,
A zero pay run, you just walk out without paying. It's like 3 seconds, dude. It shaves off at least 35 seconds, dude.
we can break the record for most loopholes exploited to achieve a world record.
To achieve a world record. Yeah, I'm here for it. Research it. That's what I'm saying.
So, but yeah, I'd say the ones I would be most enthusiastic about so far is definitely like longest audio stream podcast, whatever. You know, we'll have to figure out some details on that, and then catching food like our hot dog in a bun from really far or something. I
Yeah,
think would
I'm
be
into
really
that
fun.
one. I like that one a lot.
I'll look into see if there's other foods maybe that.
Well, let's when we meet up to go see this really cool comet, let's get like maybe a 24-pack of hot dogs and some buns.
Oh yeah.
And do some
Practicing.
practicing.
And
episode.
I think it would be cool to do the furthest distance traveled.
I like that one a lot.
Honestly, of all of them, I think for Wilderness Radio, the podcast, that would be the coolest one to be able to say, like,
Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
agree.
we literally walked further than anybody else ever did on a live stream or something like.
Yeah, that would be
Would
super
be pretty
cool.
neat. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I guess we've been going for a little over an hour. It's about time to wrap her up.
I think it's that time.
Scout's ready to get the fuck out of here and stop looking at my dumb face.
Let's go. I got shit to do, doggy. Come on. The game's on. Actually, yeah, any good games this weekend?
No, the college football national championship was last night, but it was not a good game. It was a total. It was 65-7 was the
Oh,
score.
shit.
Yeah, Georgia
Damn.
destroyed TCU.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sucks for TCU. I'm sorry to hear it, guys. Go Georgia.
Oh well, you know.
Hooray for the
they
winners.
definitely get shit on for getting killed, but at the same time, they're the
You
second
got there.
best team. They're the second best team in the country this season.
Yeah.
You could argue so.
Yep. The first losing team, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, peace out, y'all. I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Huh?